Good day. Welcome to the Dev Report. This is episode 5. My name is Tyson Villeneuve. I'm here to give you an update on what we accomplished during the month of March 2017. I'm here alone this time. I couldn't get anyone else together. Everyone is too busy. But we actually had a really good month, so I've got a list of things here that I wanted to go over, including some crazy tales about how I met Greg Miller, which was a highlight, but let's get into it. So this month, I actually I don't want to say primarily, I actually spent a decent amount of time working on a bit of a secret project. And the reason it's secret is because I'm not 100% sure about the timeline and when it's gonna come to fruition. So I don't want to. It's been work in the works for a very long time, and it looks like it may actually happen. So I'm hoping, within the next few weeks that I'll be able to talk about it more. But so keep an eye on that because it should be pretty cool. Otherwise, the other thing I spent a lot of time on was promotional materials for the game. So at the end of April, we have 2 shows that we will be a part of. One is the Calgary Expo, and that's April 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. I'll have a table there where we will be set up. My girlfriend has finished writing her first book. Actually, we already been to a couple cons with it, but she'll be there with that book, and I'm splitting a table with her just to set up a little bit of promotional material for the game. It won't be playable or anything, but gonna have some handouts and hopefully get a chance to talk with a few people. So it should be fun. And then the week before that, we will be at the Red Deer Maker Fair, and that is a really cool show where it's very about technology and people doing some really cool creative things. It's a big family event, so I'm going to have a table there where I'm going to just talk about game development, programming, how to get started with game development, and also show the game a little bit, like not necessarily playable, but show some behind the scenes, like what the structure of the code looks like, some of the art resources we're using, and all that kind of stuff. So it should be pretty fun. So we got those shows. So what I had to spend a lot of time, not a lot of time, but about a week making the banner for the company and business cards and promotional flyers and stuff like that, and get all that stuff to the printer. So that stuff I squared away. And then I also spent some time looking at finishing up some of the achievements, or not achievements. Achievements is on my list. This is something that I just started looking into. I'm not sure why I didn't think of it earlier, but we just never really thought about achievements and what we would do with them. But I think achievements are an important part of any project, any game project these days. I personally don't play for achievements at all, but I know a lot of people really like achievements. So I had to do some investigation on the Steam API and also Good Old Games. We're not sure exactly where this is going to land, but likely we're going to try for those ones anyway. So I looked into the Steam API, how that works, the Galaxy, Good Old Games platform is Galaxy, that API to see how that works, and then also spent some time designing how that achievement system is going to fit in the game, and also come up with, we had a couple of meetings with Kelsey and Justin about what kind of achievements we could even have in the game. So we're starting to look at that stuff. And so that's what I spent most of my month doing. Erica, let's see here, she her 29 or 28 Faces of February, she just bled that over into March, so she spent some time doing that kind of stuff. But the cool thing is, finally, we are at a stage, and this is where Justin and Kelsey spent their time this last month, finishing that system integration. So we had components kind of all over the place, kind of developed on little islands, and so they put the integration together, and now all those components are actually in the game, and so we're ready to start. And then they also started working on the intro screens, splash screens, and really started working on the UI stuff. And so with that, Erica has then started spending some time on the art assets for the main HUD and stuff like that. So it's slightly later than I had originally hoped for getting on that, because I think I wanted to actually spend most of February doing that. But regardless, it's happening now, and it's coming along great, and hopefully by the end of this month, the goal is, of course, to have some actual screenshots and actually be able to not necessarily play the game, but build the game and have it look like something by the end of this month for those 2 shows. So, and I think we're on track with that. But we're gonna, after those shows, we're gonna be coming out with those screenshots and that kind of stuff. I'm not sure. We might be a little bit late on next month's video because the last 2 weekends in April will be at the show, so it's going to be tricky to get a recording in. But we'll see what we can do there. But yeah, so we're moving great. We're moving forward on those user interface, and we're actually going to have something to show soon. And as soon as we have something to show, and our game is actually going to be like playable, then it's going to look like things are happening a lot more. And at that point, we're going to be able to share a lot more of what we're doing. And I think our plan is to actually start a weekly dev blog. So with here's the things we're working on every week, and here's what we accomplished. It'll be fairly straightforward, kind of point form, but that's the plan. Then the video will be kind of an encompassing discussion roundtable kind of thing whenever we can get everyone together. So that's what's going on that front. So yeah, this month is going to be all 3 of us, actually all 4 of us, because Erica's going to be doing art, and we're all going to be pushing on UI to get something to display now that the core of that system is together. So pretty exciting. So the other cool thing that happened this month is this. I got to meet Greg Miller. And so here's the story on that front. So as you know, I'm a huge fan of Kinda Funny. I've been following them since, well, most of these guys, as you know, are from IGN. And I started following them really, I wasn't on board with Beyond. At that point, I was into the Xbox ecosystem, but I watched Up at Noon religiously, and that show was hilarious. That's where I really started liking Greg Miller, and of course Nick Scarpino. The show was really cool, so when they broke off into Kinda Funny, then I followed them there, and that's where started really liking Tim Gettys and Colin Moriarty and following those guys. So that was really cool. I've been planning kind of one of these days going to Kinda Funny Live. I couldn't do it this year, but I was planning on maybe next year going up to Kinda Funny Live 4. Which would be, where would be the only chance that I could meet really Greg Miller and the guys. But then this opportunity just kind of fell in our lap. Greg Miller was promoting a movie that he kind of co-produced and promoted called Heel Kick, and the guys who did Heel Kick are from Edmonton, or at least, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're from Edmonton. And so they had their premiere in Edmonton. You bought tickets, and Greg Miller was at the premiere. So really cool. The show, by the way, was great. It's there's when you're talking about indie films, there's kind of these 2 levels. There's like good for indie, where it's like it's pretty good for an indie movie, and then there's just a good movie, and this was just a good movie. So if you haven't seen it, I mean, I guess it's still in theaters, and there's a small circulation of that, and hopefully they'll get some distribution at some point. Take a look at it. It's a pretty funny movie. So anyways, after the movie, Justin came with me. We went to the movie, and after the movie, we got to meet Greg Miller, shake his hand, like really cool guy. And then I was pretty much happy. I saw Greg Miller. He did an interview with some of the guys from the movie, the creators of the movie, on the stage afterwards. Got to shake his hand, got a picture with him, which was great. And then there was supposedly some kind of meet and greet after party. I mean, by this point, I was already really okay with my encounter. I was like, you know what? That's pretty much all I would likely get if I were to go to Kinda Funny Live anyway. Stand in line, shake his hand, say hi, and get an autograph maybe, and move on, or a picture. And but then we went to the after party, and Greg was just walking around. He talked to just about everyone there, I'm sure. It was just super civil. Nobody was crashing around him or crowding. Got to meet some really cool guys, just kind of funny people from Edmonton and from the surrounding area. So meeting those guys was really cool, and had a really good time. But then halfway through the night, Greg Miller sat down right beside me, and I had a chat with him for about 15-20 minutes, just about there's a bunch of things going on with Kind of Funny, which are a little bit unfortunate, but he was super open, super honest, and the things that you see online, all that negativity, just his perspective on things was just great, and all that garbage that they're talking about Greg, it's just not true if you're sitting there with him and you get the real story. So it was really cool to see him and talk to him. And then, so, he moved on and was talking to a bunch of other people. So we were like, it was 10 o'clock, I had a 2-hour drive home. So we packing up, paying the bill, and he came behind us and chatted with him for another 15 minutes after that. Asked him if he was cool with me doing like the compilation video, the really funny kind of compilation video. He said he was totally fine with that I should keep doing it. So it was like really great to get that nod. So that's the video that I did. I've done 2 of them now. One of them was the second one I did a couple months ago, and that's when I released it. And a lot of the community really liked it, which was cool. But it didn't really get a lot of buzz from the guys themselves. And but you know what? I don't blame them. That's fine. These guys are busy. They're not going to look at every single little thing that everyone sends their way. But the crazy thing is that just last week, I don't know how, but Tim Gettys found the picture that I drew, which was the gender swap picture of them, and tweeted about it, which was just totally epic. So so March was awesome for that. Got to meet got to meet Greg Miller and get some recognition from these guys who are one of my biggest inspirations, biggest source of entertainment. So yeah, it was really great. And really psyched to keep me driving forward, and hopefully I can hopefully get a chance to meet some of these guys in the future. Anyways, I think that's all for this month. As you can see, I got a new microphone. I bought this specifically for Erica because I don't know if you noticed the last video, she was using a instrument mic, which was garbage. The sound quality was horrible. The problem is I only have 3 microphones, and so every time we do, all 4 of us, I have to try and find one and borrow one. And last month, couldn't grab one. Everyone was busy and using their mics, so I figured I should get one. And Erica hates talking up close to the microphone, so I got her one now that she can just wear. And so I thought I'd christen it in and see how she works. So hopefully the audio quality is pretty good. Signals look good, but I'm pretty excited about that. And with this microphone, I also bought a webcam. So my intent is to do some live streaming at some point. Not sure exactly what I will live stream. Maybe some work in my mini art book, or maybe some game dev stuff. Not quite sure yet, but we'll play that by ear. And so keep an eye out for that if you're watching this. Otherwise, thanks again for joining us this month, and keep an eye out for if you're oh, by the way, if you're in Calgary or Red Deer for at the end of April there, come drop by the booth and have a chat. Otherwise, yeah, I guess I'll see you next month for another update on the Dev Report. Cheers.